evening, folks.
Blessed evening.
Welcome back to the Afro-Trini View.
Afro-Trini View taping today, Carnival Tuesday.
Carnival Tuesday, but
Yeah. Under different circumstances. Yeah. Right. So as we start first by acknowledging some of the things that we wear. Mask by Ogunwumi. The idea behind Mask by Ogunwumi was to give two things. To make noise without words. So this mask mark, I will breathe. We're not on the I can't breathe thing, right? So it's to say something. Some of them come with African symbols and things on them. I'm wearing the Nubian Experience, African royalty. I'm wearing Davidson Watches, right? And we brother here, Mr. Swagg himself. He wearing one of our new pieces. This is the first one in this year. This is the mud cloth inspired collection, Bogle and Fanny. That is actually a Mali word for mud cloth.
okay.
Bogle and Fanny, and that is one of the pieces here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we want to start all episodes of the Afro-Trini View.
You done? I want more.
So stand up now, show them.
Understand? God save the creative. Joggers, t-shirts, crop tops, hoodies,
Short pants.
waist neck same, crew neck, long sleeve. You name it, don't worry. The link will be in the description, right? For the about
creative.
God save the creative, right?
Yeah.
New brand on the market. The idea in itself was very, what to put it, I don't want to say old because it's not old, but it is an idea that was there for some time, and my brother finally
Make it money.
make it manifest. You understand what I'm saying? So goodness to the God save the creative team. Adel Chenalbert and Crystal Chenalbert, husband and wife team. So tonight, folks, we have a very well, remember we tell all in the beginning when we introduced this particular podcast that we ain't coming to tiptoe. We ain't coming to pussyfoot around things.
Yeah.
Right? I think the last 9 episodes was nice and smooth, it was easy, nice to go down and think. But this subject tonight in particular is one that I think too many people have been avoiding, and every time it come up, it's excuses about this and excuses about that, right? So enough about the shushu. The topic for tonight is, why is it support for self? Meaning that why we say we want to support our community first, is it always interpreted by our community as hate for other communities?
I want to add to that, not just by our community, the media especially the people that benefit from the way we African people spend, they also spin it as hatred. So why is our support for self and kind always interpreted as hatred for others? From ourselves, sadly, and from outside our community.
I know the answer to that question. All I know is it's kind of annoying, because as a young fella growing up and thing, I always, first things first, I went to a private primary school.
Right.
Then I went to Success Lamington, which was predominantly African children,
Right.
and teachers. Right? We had Indo-Trinidadian teachers, we had Indo-Trinidadian students amongst us and everything. And then from there I went to East Indian private school, which was St. Augustine Community College, right? They could call it what they want to call it, that is what it is, right? Because 90-something% of the students at that point in time,
Right.
from Form 4 and 5, was East Indian children, right? We was in the minority. So, I say that to say that when we look at the way how all these other communities operate, East Indian community, the Syrian community, Chinese community, and we see the togetherness that they have, and we see the manner in which they treat all their businesses and all their endeavors. And then when it comes to us now, we don't have that, right? It is bothering me, because what I don't get is that we cannot be part of none of them, right? We can't try to join, like an application form for we to join them, right? And then we upset when things like what happened recently with the young lady and the East Indian community rise up and they close their businesses and they throw vigil and they, yes, of course, Ashanti name call and the other people who passed before her call and whatever. But the response from the community was different.
Yes.
Right? And I've seen countless statuses, countless WhatsApp, people talking about, well, that was all the time and whatever. But how could we be vexed?
Exactly. So I wanted to make sure that we say that. We shouldn't be vexed as our people that a particular ethnic group in this country rise up and hold individuals and making it known to the public that they're dissatisfied, they're uncomfortable with things like, the crime and thing in the country, and they're using their economic standings to help drive that point across. Right? What we had to do from that is look at it and see what we could emulate outside, what we could do the same way to bring that kind of growth in the African community. Right? So again, why is supporters self or is interpreters hate for us? I think that African people was programmed over the years, countless years, to think that way. Right? Because you said something important just now. We just go and get an application form to join one of the other ethnic societies. We know that they have it. They have the Chinese Association,
Syrian Lebanese Association.
Right? The East Indian people have countless association that works in their field. We're not angry. The Afro-Trini view is not angry at none of them. We're going to make that clear.
Yeah. Absolutely clear.
Right. We're not angry at none of them. Because from where we sit as two young African people, we see how that has worked for them. What we're saying is, you just had the renaming. I don't know if it was officially or unofficially. You see the put up two lions and all kind of thing. I said, look at how we can go to these ceremonies involving other ethnic groups and have no problem with it.
What supported fully.
Right. Being front and sharing and clapping, all well and good, because we live in a multicultural society. Right? But,
and it's undeniable that there are going to be times that we don't have certain things and we have no choice.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
We're not saying don't. We're not saying don't. But at what point? Anyhow, sorry, you continue.
They do all kind of things and they put that Chinese spin on the street.
They choose to be shot on the street.
Right. This country is made up of predominantly African people and East Indian people. All the other ethnic groups are very small minorities. Right? But we all live here, we all share the space. And all ethnic groups have made contributions to this country, positive contributions to this country, all. Right? But how is it that the push to show the cultural influences of other ethnic groups seems to be more for everybody except Africa? Is it that we don't want to show our African pride? Again, this is why one of the reasons I started the Nubian Experience. This is why I do things like this. A tribal mask on a t-shirt. An Africa on a t-shirt. Because, again, we will go into Port of Spain, we understand nothing about the Chinese culture, besides we watching all them come, them kick up on them. You understand? We understand absolutely nothing about it. We don't understand the language, nothing. But we dare sharing them one. Right? Then when you have people like ourselves and others, there are countless African people in this country involved in associations and formal and informal that working for the betterment of African people. And some of them that I've spoken to, some of them who have been around 50 years, some of them who have been around 10 years, one of the things they have in common is that the biggest fight that they seem to get is people saying that you're being racial because you say, try your best to find a black-owned business for the things they will need. Other ethnic groups don't have to state that.
No.
But are they considered racial or having hate for others,
No.
how many people from the Syrian community do you see in black-owned businesses?
And ask them that.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Because just as you mentioned, the flip side of that is they probably have the businesses necessary to maintain.
No, but and even when they don't, they create it.
Right.
They create it.
But none of us as African people have ever, I have never heard an African person say, them Syrian people and them hate everybody else. That's why they do go on. No, they don't see it as that.
No.
They see it as that, oh, they can't have
Pride, yeah.
Yeah. So you could feel that pride for another ethnic group. But when people from your ethnic group try to do the exact same thing,
It's a problem.
it's a problem to the point where you could use terms as you're racial or you hate other people. I don't. So long as that, because for me, hatred is a personal thing.
Definitely.
So I don't hate no other ethnic group unless I have a personal interaction with you as a person and you do something that I think I should hate you.
You can't hate a whole community based on one interaction.
You know, in my business dealings, I deal with members of all the ethnic, especially when it comes to supplies.
Yeah.
Of course, I try my best to get supplies from African businesses where I can't have to deal with them. And most of us have very good
Relationships.
business relationships.
Yeah. Because nothing is wrong with that. And that's what we say. But we don't see the reverse. We don't see the reverse. We don't see I don't want to call them any supplier names, but whoever it is get your printing stuff from. Them don't say, well, let me come and buy a jersey from you. You understand? Where your shop is, let me send some people to buy from you. You don't get that. You understand what I'm saying? And it is a very disturbing thing because for me, for one, I mean, you know somebody endeavors we've embarked on, right? And I always feel so excited, like I telling you about Marcus Abdullah Midas on the lookout, right? The Burger man. I remember when I first meet Midas just a little burger cart there, he alone there trying to supply everybody with food and thing, and he doing gourmet burgers on the lookout. From a cart, something we would expect to come out of a restaurant coming off a burger cart, right? Fully clad in chef gear, chef hat, chef thing, crop, where's all the shoes, crops, everything. And as time progresses, you start seeing things changing. You see, he have new staff. Now I see he doing iPad. He taking your order on an iPad. Right. When he take the order, the girls behind the counter getting the order so they could fulfill. And no errors, right? So I asked him, I said, boy, what's going on, boy? He said, boy, he says, because I'm in like all you, when all you're sharing your business and thing and telling people about it and thing and suggesting people to come. He said people just come and after they come the first time, they continue to come back. He said, you see my sign? Now me know how I missed that. The sign, because the sign on top of the card, but the sign bigger than the card, you seen it from our mind, but I just didn't pick it up now.
So let me say this, that we mentioned in more than one episode already. I like a share and a comment on somebody's business who you know it's free and it ain't taking much time. Why we doesn't do that more often? If I post something about my personal life, 1 million likes.
Ooh, million comments, yeah.
The very next minute I post something about my business, crickets, silence. Not a share, none of that. You know? This is how we just do this, and we living in that social media world. And we have customers who tell us just like you say he tell you. Yeah, my partner, what I like to call strong. My partner strong. I see him post it up on his status and he give me a number to call and thing. That's what this do. Yeah. If we serious about building ourselves, there are simple things we can do, boy. Yeah. Simple things that cost no money and takes very little time.
Correct. And on that note, we could move into the next point, which is, can we build ours while supporting others?
Of course.
Right?
Well, that's something you always talk about.
Is it possible? Right? Now, my thing is, we at a disadvantage. We've been at a disadvantage, right?
A 400 to 500 years
disadvantage, right? Nobody never give you no land. Nobody, we never get no, what is called it? Not repatriation.
Reparation.
We never get no reparations, right? Now, I do ever like to start a conversation about indentation versus slavery, because at the end of the day, everybody's be touchy about it.
There's no conversation to be had about that. Let's be real, right? We didn't come on a yacht, you know. We come on a boat tie up and forced, you know. You made a choice. We're not saying it wasn't hard.
Yes, of course.
It was hard, but you were given the opportunity to make that choice. And once you survived your choice, it was given a reward. We didn't get any of that.
Right.
So I like how Chronic said, them line in black is beautiful. You are behaving and go on. Like you never spent 500 years on a farm. These people have, this whole system that we live in under, African people have been at a disadvantage even in 2021.
And everybody always quick to say, nah, easy, just do this, just do that. But how we could say just do this, just do that when we don't have a deed to go in the bank with, right? And then when we go to the bank, we get scrutinized, and we're not being treated the same. You understand? So how?
And we act like if these are not real
issues.
So can we build others while ourselves while building others? Yes. What is the quote about the candle?
A candle doesn't lose its light, but it's light by lighting another.
And should I go back into what I was saying before? You is my partner. You is my brother, you is my sister, you is my mother, my father. All the way on social media. Right? This is what I expect. But of course, they say expectations always lead to disappointment. I do expect people to do the same things you do. But we live in a world where all of it, people just claim that they understand and we're conscious of this and that. I expected, I should say, in the early when I started, that my family, my very close friends, or those I consider my close friends, would be the first set of people to do two things: share my stuff and support. It didn't work out like that, but that's what I expect. Anybody around me could tell it. So long as you tell me you want to start a business, first thing I said is start. But now, after conversations with yourself, I have a little more to add to that. And this is us building others while we building ourselves. So we have had conversations over the years, and I can now pass on some of that to people because I had some of the conversations with some of my experiences. So now I can say, well, what business you want to do? Barbering? We want to open a shop. Look at the people, what kind of barber shops it have around it. If it have long serving barber shops around, you know that it might take a little longer to build yourself because it have, so you want to research, right? But I didn't have anybody to tell me any of those things there, and I consider that helping to build the person, and that statement really stick with my head. I can't do no losing, no shine, no fire, no light by lighting others. A simple thing as information. Information can help somebody open the business that will turn out to be the biggest in its field just by you sharing some information. So yes, we can build others while building ourselves. Our community is sometimes too selfish.
So my question is this: let me extrapolate that to outside of the community now. Can we build the African community while still supporting other communities?
Yes, because of what you're saying, the use. Right now, as it stands, we don't have enough anything to build without having to get from others.
Right.
So they'll still benefit from us.
Exactly.
But the goal that we will be working to
is eventually
exactly, and it would lead to that. Right? But we live in a world, you see, people do apply reality to it. It's like, yes, we could support we and build real because what's gonna it's not all the time I go feel to eat pale out. Somebody I will feel for curry. I used to work for a boss man. At that time, a pizza franchise in El Curry used to sell curry. And he used to say, I used to buy the curry. I love curry. And he used to sell curry on a Tuesday. And he used to say, oh, you're mad. I said, why? He said, I could never buy curry from anything besides ice cream. You understand? But that's what I'm saying is people doesn't be realistic about it. And it's the same thing with them.
Yeah.
I remember I used to work for a white man.
Yeah.
That man did love doubles. When he always take on doubles, right?
Mm.
When you wrap a doubles,
It's no
and you leave it, it's no longer doubles. So it's to see this millionaire businessman start up, he park up his car and throw down $5.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reality, and now that goes for almost everything.
Yeah.
Right? But the base,
Mm-hmm.
it must be home. Yours must have. Right?
And you know, it's the hardest part about that, Andre. Sorry, we shall actually, I need to try and break that up. The hardest part for me to accept about that is this. And I always bring it back to this. I went to school in Top. I remember when Burger Boys started on Frederick Street. Right? Because Burger Boys was a little, no bigger than this. Right? We did it. Everybody back in. Burger Boys, boy, oh God, fast food, it isn't good. Right? They say nice. We're doing pizza now. Oh God, pizza boy, take. They say alright, we selling donuts now. And that's how it started to grow. And it's layers, it starts off small, but they stick with it and they continue adding different things to bring people to the business, right? But when you look at who the largest spenders and supporters of these businesses is,
that's the foundation of all this conversation. We could put this into a 30-second clip and say the reason why we have one of the things we want to talk about is economic power. And the reason why we have no economic power is because we do not understand our spending power and the amount of money we spend outside of our community, which we talk about in an earlier episode. And that's when it all boils down to, you know.
yeah.
Can you imagine if we decided as the African community, we no longer eating fast food from nowhere that is not owned, not just workers, that is not owned by African power. Can you imagine if, and we're not even calling for everybody to do that because we know Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey warned us, our two honorable ancestors warned us that some of the biggest fights you will have in trying to work for the betterment of African people is from African people. What 2 months of buying from African-owned food business could potentially do is create employment, because you are selling 20 burgers a night, and we do that, then you just so you go on to 100, right? You will need help. You might have to hire 2 people. That is your daughter, your sister, friend, something where you hire. That is employment you're creating. The dollar staying in a little longer because you're paying it into somebody from the community. And we still end up spending money by other ethnicities business, because most of the poultry places in Trinidad owned by East Indians, right? So there's, in the world we live in, I don't think there's a way to fully be 100% as African. Nothing wrong with that. But the money must stay by us and give us some kind of spending power, some kind of bargaining power more. And it's time for me to learn to bargain with a little bit of money. Because that little bit of money is plenty to them. You might have $5 in your pocket, they're glad for you to come and spend that $5 in your business.
But look what's going on now. $35 some movies by Movie Town. $35. So were you telling me that 15 years ago when you open, you could have been charging me that? You understand? We are dreaming. Say, hey, come and sit down in the exclusivity of the ambience, right? Don't watch 2 movies, watch 1.
All of that too, you know, we just get take real easy for new thing. That's the playlist we have to do, is get take real easy for new thing. And so I realize some businesses cater to that within the African community.
We love exclusivity.
And they will cater for that rush and make all the money rush, and then we never able to.
Can the community be fixed?
Yes, I think of the African, not I think, I know the African community could be fixed. I wanted to use the term trying, but just last night, one of my elders said, should shrink that word out.
China's having the intention to fail.
Yeah, because this is the 10th episode here.
Yeah.
We have people reaching out to us, giving us feedback on what we're doing here. Yeah, you know, people making themselves available for when we are to discuss it. So it might seem small and insignificant to some people. That don't matter. We're doing it. What we have to keep in mind, especially based on our conversation we had today, is that we will be frustrated. Is that it will seem depressing at times. It will seem like a bigger task than we
could handle.
Right. That's okay. Because
we didn't reach here by chance.
We have the elders over us there. We are great ancestors. Like, I don't think Marcus Garvey knew that he would have started the worldwide shipping company that would have been so big back to Africa that, you know, I don't think Malcolm X knew that 60 years after his death, we'll be quoting him. I don't think, well, Fred Hampton is one of my, 21 years old, they're not watching the movie and hearing about him, but he's somebody I keep telling young people about because he's 21 years old. And made such a difference. So, yes, our communities could be fixed. Because people from our communities are the workers that fix every other community.
People don't like to hear that.
It's the truth. You know? We're the CEOs of companies, we're the cleaners of companies. So why we can't be the CEOs of we communities and the cleaners of we communities? Our community can be fixed.
We had to start.
What?
Yeah.
We had to start dealing with ourselves and talk real and honest with ourselves. You know, one of the problems is the kind of violence it have in the community. That we be hesitant to have these kind of discussions with people within our own communities. Right?
How's that fair?
I struggle exactly. I struggle daily with that.
Yeah.
You know, daily to have some communications with people, conversations with people, you know, for fear that they would react a certain kind of way. Because I have a family to study. Right? But then we must find some kind of way to do that. So that is one of the reasons why I like to sit down with the elders. Some of them went through it too. They're here to tell the story today. But my simple answer, if to a not simple question, can our communities be fixed? Yes. But it can only be fixed by us. It cannot be fixed by outside forces. It cannot be fixed by politicians. It cannot be fixed by no spiritual force. Even though spirituality is a part of what we need, our African spirituality, but it boils down to us.
Right.
It boils down to us.
Yeah, we had to start. And it's the little things. I mean, he drops his filthy bucket, and as a conversation I had with a lady this morning, I think just then she to talk to me, yes, because based on how I was feeling this morning, she told me she have a little entry one thing, and she was saying that, you know, I tell her, saying, girl, I feeling to give up. Today is the first time I'm meeting woman. I say I feeling to give up because I kind of tired, boy. Like, trying to talk to more people is be difficult because you kind of excuses as get from them and you kind of reasoning. It's be confusing because when I look at what I see everywhere else in the other communities and things, that is what is kind of frustrating me because everybody else have it figured out. Them have their own problems, you know. Them have their own problems and we're not negating that. We're not trying to even get into that. Right? But ours. How we dealing with that? How? So one of the things I do now, like when I go to a black business, I make it my business to tell them the number one reason I am here to support this business. One is because you're right? African, right? I say, and secondly, it's because I like what you're doing and I want to support your business on whatever the case is. So that we can, you know, and I try to get on a first name basis with them because I ain't not coming back. I'm coming back. If I get good service, I'm coming back. If I get bad service, I'm coming back too. Because I'm coming back to give you that's it. You understand? So I think that is one of the pillars of us trying to really fix our communities. That tagline we have, boy, face the issues and then formulate the solutions. And that's one of the things that I thank your friend for, who's give us the feedback. Right? She went success too. Right? We need it because it's not just about bashing. We ain't bashing nobody.
There's no bashing.
This is not bashing.
And if you seeing this as bashing, then more than likely you have part of the mindset that is part of the problem. This is not bashing.
Yeah.
Because what does the Chinese people talk about when the Chinese Association have a meeting? Would you say that they bash?
Yeah.
Because every African that would hear this or hear a conversation we would have and say that is bashing. No, they can't go in the Chinese Association when they had a meeting. No, they can't go in Mahasaba when they had a meeting. Because it's for them.
That's right.
And they deal with the issues that affect them as a people and how they could solve it. If that is not considered bashing, why is Karen and I discussion on this considered bashing? That's self-hatred, right? And that self-hatred is what is making you think we hate others. We don't. But this is about our improvement.
Yeah.
So we final topic on what we wanted to ask about is the need for African history as a tool of empowerment. You know, Brother Malcolm X, paraphrasing, I didn't say exactly how we say it, but he said something to the effect of we need to teach our children the great things that the ancestors did and make them feel responsible to carry it on, because he said if you don't feel it's part of something, then you don't feel that you need to work hard and carry on something. You know, and my father always showed me this since I am in contact with him. He said part of the pride that other ethnic groups in Trinidad and Tobago walk through border Spain. And you see this ethnic group last name, because you know when we see certain names, we know the ethnic group we belong to. And sons. Another ethnic group name, and sons. So African children don't have that. They don't have something to look up to, something to carry on. You know, so
no legacy, and we deal with that.
Right, and that's a big part of history, because your legacy could also be you learn something about African history. And we've been like a whole lot of things about the history of other people, but there's a whole lot of episodes. Right?
Yeah.
Whole lot of things. But history is a tool of empowerment, because two things. History will make you, knowing history, knowing some of the traps that your people as African people faced, will prepare you for it, because none of them traps didn't change. The colors might have get a little brighter, but none of the traps didn't change. Some of the systems that they use to keep back our ancestors, and when we say ancestors, some people think 500 years ago, could be 40 years ago, right? Those traps still in place, right? The mentality of some of the people that created those systems, their descendants still have that mentality today, and they're in positions of power, which people like the great Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, the Trinidadian, who coined the phrase Black Power. That's one of the things he said about racism. So racism is the ability to deny somebody something because you have the power to do it. Not just a man calling a black man or a derogatory term or something like that. And that's why all of this comes under we have to get back to supporting one another, loving one another as African people, communicating with each other as African people. The solution to everything can't be a gun.
No, could never be. Because we don't manufacture no guns down here. That's right.
The solution to it can't be killing or kill sheep. That cannot be the solution to everything. It ain't changing nothing in communities. How much big house, to see a certain type of house, you have to go in certain places. How much big house with pool and things you see in every communities. And certain type of amenities.
Slim to none.
You understand? But we have the resources necessary. Because I know people who could build a swimming pool.
Yeah. I know too.
You understand? And we are the plumber outfitted and everything.
Correct.
So if you have a piece of land that is yours, what's stopping you from having a pool in your yard? Mindset and how we think, right? Our history is needed. Our African history is told and taught by research by us as African people. Because the same people who enslaved you can't be responsible for teaching you true history.
No.
That is not possible.
No.
Right?
And history is written by the victors.
Right. Tales well, I can hit them. When we propose as we can tell one. Don't tell me I use this on here. Tales of the Hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lions tell their own story.
Yeah, we never use that one.
Right?
Yeah.
So, no matter what has happened, the hunter who writing the story will always say he version, like, the hunted don't really have a story. It's time for us to, and we have great historians that have written our stories. The problem is they're not in the forefront, they don't get accreditation. We really believe in the paperwork from the same system that has oppressed we. We really believe in the paperwork now. So you can be an intellect
unless we say so.
Yeah, because the same system that you acknowledge oppressing you and give you something that you didn't go through the process of studying their same lives for 12, 15 years, you is not an intellect. I know real intellect. My father is an intellect. My grandfather, Lois Lovelace, one of the greatest artists this country has ever seen, was an intellect. We know intellects.
Yeah, we do.
The problem is we don't acknowledge them as that. My chief, Olaye, the head of Egbe Olusono Mari in Trinidad and Tobago, Olaki Amasatunji is an intellect. We have intellects right here. We have people that have put their lives on the line for the betterment of we people right here. But again, we don't teach that history.
Yeah.
We
teach any European history.
Exactly that. And we go tackle that topic here. But support of self is not self-hatred. I close it with I as Orisha Lashogan close it. African people supporting the African self is not self-hatred.
And it's not hatred for others either.
No, and we are not promoting hatred or dislike
for any other
community, especially solely based on the fact that you say East Indian, so I don't like you. We are promoting that nonsense.
Yeah.
You understand?
Make it clear.
Yeah. What we promoting is the fact, the need for us to do more business. We live in a world cash is king. Money is everything. Money is how you get to power. Right? Because I tell people, my take on politics is real simple. It has been heavily influenced by people like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Steve Biko. When you listen to their talking and things, to me, I like simplicity. I think if I had to vote for somebody and I live in Miaro, that person must be living in Miaro. I think in the selection of people who we call ministers, their portfolio must be, their personal life must be tied to the portfolio. Can't be my minister of finance and your forte is not finance.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. I like that kind of simplicity. So use the minister of health, you must be a doctor. Is the minister of national security, you must have had some kind of background in security. That is just how that is the simplistic way I look at things. Because you want to Baba come and fix the engine? Likewise, a man who does fix tires for a living, imagine you telling you a man.
Yeah. Or imagine you telling them some part of your routine and they went check it.
No, we see how silly that sounds. But when it comes to politics, we don't want to apply it.
That's absurd.
I look at those things and all them is things. In every communities we have people who is good orators, who could talk. We have people who could do, people willing to teach. I know people who give up the time for real years to teach and things. We have to big up these people more and encourage them to inspire others.
And one of the things, the thing that I would like to close with is that we are a very loving people, right? It is our greatest asset as a people. African people, we are a very loving people. We always want to include, we always want to sing kumbaya and all these things. But it is also our greatest weakness, right? Because at times like these, when we're having these discussions, it is so difficult for us to even fathom not loving, by loving ourselves, that we're going to effectively love others less, right? And that's not what we're saying, as you rightfully say, right? And I want to re-emphasize that that we're not trying to say that we're not on this one and we're not on that one, or we hate this one and we hate that one. All we simply say is that we love ourselves, right? And we want to see our community thrive, we want to see our community uplift, and the only way to do so is through building it and supporting each other, right? And support, that we always say, support will start like this, but drip by drip the bucket must full, as the old people say. Right, folks? So episode 10 was a heavy hitter. You know, look out for the tags in the description. Like, subscribe, share. Because we need to get the subscriber come back up since we had to change the page. Yeah. We lose a lot of subscribers.
It's little funny that, you know, over the years we were watching YouTube and thing, and you always see people in the middle of the video, I think, pop up. Don't forget to like and share. I know we understand how important it is. So share the pages, like the pages, comment, give me all the feedback, because feedback is another way we grow. Yeah. You know, so give me all the feedback, but like and share. Yeah.
And send me some topics. I mean, we have the topics lined up, but something might be more pressing to you that you want us to hear us talk about. Say it, we will do it, we will address it. Right, folks? So
you'll be safe out
there.
Right. One of the things I just want to put in, we had no carnival this year. I hope that African people, Trinidadian people on the ground recognize how important carnival is to Trinidad. Not just on a carnival wine and jam scale, it's a ritual, it can't stop the ritual. Right. But it's also a $1 billion industry. I know for sure, even if this is not $1 billion, hundreds of millions of dollars, we're bring back that money to the communities that started the carnival. Too much of people hijack the carnival. This is we chance to do, right?
Okay.
So,
goodness, right? We out.